parents actually were really, sent us off to college with a very specific amount of money that we had to get through, you know, had to pace our way through until we got to the end of the semester. So I did get a little bit of a sense of that in college. But my grandfather skipped my father when he wrote his will. It's actually the generation skipping laws in the United States were enacted because of my grandfather's will. So ours was like the last will that set up very significant trusts for grandchildren. So, and he never consulted my father about that. I'm really glad about it because I never had to go to my father and ask for money, and I never had to be dependent on my father, who was a really good man, but complicated. And I'm just so glad I never had to rely on him for anything. So I've been independent since I was 21. I had to very quickly learn what a balance sheet was because it was all on me. I made all the investment decisions. I signed the tax returns, and it was a very complex trust. So I learned fast, and I don't want my children to have to be on such a steep learning curve because when you have to learn that quickly, and when it's so daunting, and this comes back to the bag lady thing, it's really easy to just say, okay, you handle it, because I couldn't possibly understand the complexity of this. And on top of it, you do get, you inherit advisors almost always in a family like mine, and they're always quasi-authority figures. I mean, they're nice, cuddly uncles, most of them, but they're also kind of people you don't feel entitled to push back on either. And so there's this weird element in the room that there isn't between any of them. Excuse me. Clearly my lunch was not you inherit these people that you just can't push back on. And so there's the bag lady syndrome, which is really common among women who inherit money. It's really common that women feel like if they try to make decisions, if they take control of the money, it's just going to go poof. And then there they will be with nothing. And we're hothouse flares we can't possibly manage. We need special circumstances, so better to let other people make decisions. And it's so weird because you'd be living in a penthouse on Park Avenue. It's a long way to Bag Lady from there. And yet it feels like there are two settings, and you're going to find yourself on one or the other. And it's terrifying. And so I didn't really start pushing back on my investment advisors until I was in my 30s and had children and was developing a certain amount of self-confidence. It wasn't until then that I started making larger, riskier bets on things and making decisions about investing overseas and so forth. It really took me a long time to get there. So yeah, it's an evolution process, and everybody has to learn the value of money. That's hard in every child to adult transition, but for when you've inherited money, it's especially wacky.